welcome back to Into the Massiverse. This is episode 6, where we are going to be focusing on Empire of Storms. So let's crack on and delve even further into the Massiverse. Now, we found an awful lot of things out during Heir of Fire. And the start of this book is a really good opportunity to just solidify what we know going in. The big baddie of this series is now this super Valg demon called Erewhon. In the last book, the team found a temple to him, so we know he must have been an Erelayer in the past. And the King of Ardalan, before he, was removed from this mortal coil by his son, Mum Man Dorian Haviliard. Patricide! Patricide! Anyway, the King of Ardalan revealed that he had been possessed by a Valg demon, and throughout the years had been trying to protect Dorian if and when he could. Now, this is pretty trippy when we've seen what it's like to be possessed by a Valg demon in the last book. Dorian's chapters were hella bleak, and apparently the King of Ardalan has been possessed for years, so... Oh, bit of a rough one there. Can't feel bad about how evil I kept saying he was, but really, it was the demon inside of him. And the King of Ardalan made clear that the demon that was inside of him actually worked for this big bad Valg from another dimension called Erewhon. And that Duke Perrington, who we've known all the way back from book 1, he is actually possessed by Erewhon. So while we've been focusing on the King of Ardalan up till now, psych, really should be worried about Duke Perrington and what he's got going on with Elid's Uncle Vernon over in Morath. No wonder Duke Perrington was over there prepping for this war on behalf of the King of Ardalan. Really, Duke Perrington's been in charge all along, and we should probably stop calling him Duke Perrington because he is definitely possessed by this evil Valg King Erewhon. It's important to note at this point as well that the Fairy Queen, Maeve, she's obviously clued up on who and what the Valg are. She knows things our team just don't know yet. Homegirl was stressed out about finding this ring that protects you from Valg mind control. And now she is really, really stressed out about getting the weird keys. Everyone is racing to get these weird keys that can open a portal to other dimensions and give otherworldly power to the person that has all 3. Currently, we know where all 3 weird keys are. One weird key was in the Amulet of Orinth, a necklace Selena was wearing when Arabin Hamel found her as a child, and Selena got back. So Homegirl has one weird key. It looks like the King of Ardalan, who we now realise Erewhon has, the other weird key, and the item Coltane Rompier, R.I.P. Queen, who, exploded herself, destroyed the training tower in Morath, helped save my girl Elid, had a weird key in her arm. She cut it out and gave it to Elid as Elid was escaping. I mean, Elid doesn't know what she's got. No one else really knows what's going on, but you can connect the dots that this miscellaneous item is definitely a weird key. So Team Good Guys actually have 2 of 3, which is not bad, but it will take until the very end of this book for us to realise that the good guys are currently winning the game of who has most weird keys. Most of this book is about figuring out who's got what and trying to find the weird gate. Whatever that is, it is the other ingredient to accessing all of this power. 3 weird keys and the weird gate. And the book actually starts off giving us a little teaser, some context to things that have happened in the past. Because if there's a Temple of Erewhon somewhere, this old temple, then he must have been around before. And I kid you not, this book starts off with 2 characters we're familiar with. We've seen one of them before. I'll give you 3 seconds to guess. It's Elena and Gavin, the first king and queen of Ardalan. Yeah, the ghost queen Elena and her husband, whose sword has become very important to the team. Yeah, we flash back in time to them being alive. And all we get titillated with, teased with, is that they are going to make a bold move to try and defeat Erwin for the time being. So Elena and Gavin, they've been involved with this Valg issue literally for, I don't know, hundreds of years, whenever they were alive. And what we really appreciate is that Erwin and the Valg, what they want to do is get access to Erelea. Okay, they want to come into this world from wherever it is they originally come from. There are so many hypotheses about this, but the Valg want to come and conquer Erelea. That is their endgame. That's what Elena and Gavin tried to stop in their lifetime, and that our guys are now having to confront during this book series. Now, the characters, like in the last book, they're all over the place. Okay, but they're not so easily chopped up into designated camps anymore. We've got a lot of blending going on. So I'm going to focus on what's happening with Alid and Lorcan. Then we'll catch up with my girl Manon. And then we will get everyone together. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. The notes on this are pretty comprehensive. We're going to have to get through a lot, guys. So let's go and jump even further into the Massiverse by discussing the plot of Empire of Storms, Book 6 in the Throne of Glass series. We left Alid escaping the tower, leaving her evil uncle behind. And if you have forgotten, Alid has a disability. Homegirl's got a really bad limp. And it is cold. I actually think it's literally snowing as she is trying to escape. She basically has two missions that she does not realize are the same. Number one is to find Aelin Ashriver Galathinius, her queen and childhood friend. And the second is to find this mystery woman, Selena Sardothian, whom Coltain Rompier asked Alid to give a package to. Alid's logic is, look, I'll find Aelin first, and then hopefully my homegirl, queen, woman I think the absolute world of, will be able to help me find this Selena Sardothian, wherever she may be. Oh, Alid. Alid. Aelin's definitely gonna be able to help you find Selena Sardothian. Homegirl is really struggling. She is pretty low on food and water, and though she doesn't know it, she is currently being hunted by none other than Lorcan. Man is back in the plot. This dark, broody man, he can sense that something's off, so he's like hunting her through the woodlands. And while he is 100% planning to capture her, he's kind of fascinated, okay? Because by rights, she shouldn't be alive. He's looking at her like, why is this tiny, weak human still insisting on living? It's like how when we ask, how can bumblebees fly? How can pugs breathe? That's how Lorcan initially starts watching Alid. But as he, like, closes in to attack her, these awful human dog monster Valg hellhound hybrids, they come and they attack both of them, okay? These creatures, they're meant to be tracking our lead, but they're not going to discriminate against her and Lorcan. And the two of them end up legging it together, you know. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They have bigger priorities than dealing with each other at the minute. And while they get separated in the attack, Lorcan, he kills one of the creatures with his sword. And Alid uses smarts. Girl is crafty. You will find out that that is really one of my homegirl's main things. Well, everyone else is brawns and pizzazz. My girl Alid, she's subtle. And she's incredibly, incredibly smart. I would use the word cunning. That's it. Alid seems all sweet and innocent, but homegirl's got a wicked mind. They find each other after the attack. And in an absolutely iconic move, Lorcan picks her up, lobs her over his shoulder, and just starts running away with her, because it turns out he runs super fast, so he just picks her up. He can't be bothered waiting for her to try and keep up. And honestly, the fan art of this is brilliant. They end up in a town and link up with like a traveling circus. They all agree to kind of work together. There's tolls that have got to be paid if they're all trying to travel in the same direction. So it's like, let's link up. The only condition is, Lorcan, Alid, you need to actually like join the circus and be performers. In order to seem legit, Alid just decides she and Lorcan are going to pose as newlyweds. She's so small. He's like 7 foot tall. Okay. And my homegirl just looks him dead in the eyes and is like, "You're my husband now. If anyone asks, you are my husband." And she just has to go along with it. He's so big and scary and mean to everyone else. Like literally no one else likes Lorcan. To lead just immediately is A, completely savage to him, but B, has him wrapped around her finger. She says jump. He's like, "Oh, how high?" We love it. Whilst they're together in their like traveling caravan, they're getting to know each other. And she starts telling him about Morath, about her mission to try and find Aelin Galathinius, who, oh yeah, guess what? Lorcan has some insights into. And he shares a little bit of information with her. Oh yeah, this other girl you're looking for, Selena Sardathian, she's in the employ of Aelin Galathinius. You're really on the right tracks. And the lead is chaffed. And Lorcan's like, yeah. Now, while they're in this caravan, they obviously have to like sleep in the same space. Because he's so cold and aloof. And there's just our little girl, a lead, like snuggling up with him. We He literally, like, she wants to have a bath. So he goes and he gets the warm water and he stays outside, right? And guards her while she has her bath. He's, he's big and scary, but he's stepping into the role of protector a little too well. Man even washes her clothes. And because he's got amazing hearing, you can tell that she takes her necklace off and hides it because obviously that's got the stone Coltane Rompia gave her inside it. So he's like, what is she hiding? What's going on with this necklace? Well, in exchange for him running her a bath, Alid decides to share a little bit more information about herself with Lorcan because Homeboy is interested in what's going on with this human he just cannot seem to suss out. And she lets him know that her uncle Vernon, he's a commander at Morath, and that he locked her up in the dungeons. At which point, my man Lorcan, who shows very little emotion, really, is immediately like, "Do you want me to kill him?" He locked you in a dungeon. Do you want him dead? I'll do it. I nominate myself. I volunteer as tribute. And what's so sad is her reply is, "Well, what would it cost?" And Lorcan's gagged. Like, I was just offering to do it for shits and gigs. You don't have to pay me. And he's like, "Yeah, nothing." I'll do it for free. For the bucks. Cost equals my enjoyment in killing a man who treated you badly. And Alid tells Lorcan about the breeding program that's going on at Morath with the witches and the Valg. And what's really gross is, she tells Lorcan, yeah, Vernon wanted to know if like our bloodline would mix with the Valg. So I'm very aware I was gonna be next. I was gonna be involved in the creepy, very, very creepy breeding program. And Lorcan is, needless to say, not impressed at all. But he kind of summarizes that the explosion that happened at Morath doesn't seem like an accident now. And Alid's like, yeah, no, wouldn't call it an accident. But she refuses to give him any specifics or tell him who blew up the tower. Alid's a girl's girl. These things are on a need-to-know basis, Lorcan. Now they stop on the journey for supplies, and they split up to go and get different things. And my girl Alid, her uncle Vernon turns up. He literally like kidnaps her and is putting her in a box to take her back to Morath. And Homegirl's like, "I'm not having any of this." And when she gets a knife, instead of like attacking someone else, she's totally gonna herself. Okay, girl is ready to unalive. She will not be RAPED'd. But no need to fear. My man Lorcan, he is on it like a car bonnet. Not gonna let this other man take a lead away. So they make it like back to their ship and they carry on. But it is a close one. It's actually major stress. But you see Alid and Lorcan working together. It's feeling more like a team now. And the two of them have to start performing as part of the carnival. So Alid zhuzhes herself up, pretends to be a psychic. She reads futures and things like that. Homegirl gets her tits out and Lorcan is gagged. It's one. There's so many iconic moments in this, but the moment a lead is like boobs out, I love. Lorcan's like, whoa, for such a small creature, whoa. But Lorcan, he ends up doing this sword throwing and catching on the stage, and he ends up like being convinced slash made to take his top off. And let's say the crowds are wild. The lead's like, it's meant to be my husband. And we have this really cool scene where she's like tied up and spinning the ass to throw knives at her. And the tension is so good. At this point, they've kind of both got to admit that they're attracted to each other, right? Like, it is heating up in here. Unfortunately, a group of demons attack the carnival and they ask Lorcan, like, where Alid is using her real name. And he confronts Alid once the demons are gone and it's like, you are a lady. You are nobility. You are not this, like, little poor impoverished troll thing that I thought you were. You are, like, close to being royalty yourself. And she's like, yeah, but I thought that might make you feel a little bit awkward. Because you find out Lorcan was literally this abandoned, homeless orphan growing up in the sewers. And that he feels, well, no, he is blessed by this god of death, Helios. He's got this really intense death fae magic, and that the only person who ever saw his potential and like took him in was Maeve. So it's one of the reasons why, unlike the others, Lorcan is genuinely loyal to his queen. And it's just really sad because Lorcan's basically saying, look, no one's ever been nice to me. And that's why he's so awful. Don't worry, my homegirl Alid, she's pretty nice to everyone, except those that wrong her. Okay, as we will find out, my girl Alid, she can hold a grudge. She can be a bitch too. Now they know these things about each other, we've reached a higher level of understanding. So the two of them start searching these taverns for any mention of Aelin, and some of the carnival workers end up giving them away. So Lorcan hears they're going to be attacked, there's danger coming, and the two of them escape on a boat, but Lorcan kills the captain, which Alid is furious about. Not cool, Lorcan. Unnecessary killing. Homegirl is not fine with that. While they're on the boat, something kind of triggers Lorcan. And he pays close attention to the amulet Aelin gave him in the last book, and he realizes that's not got a weird key in it. That's not a weird key. Lorcan has been lied to. And I think what it is like he roars in anger, and Alid's just like, oh damn. And he steers their boat towards Elwi, nation of my homegirl Nehemia. R.I.P. I mean, actually, no, scratch that. She's not my homegirl. I have so many issues with Nehemia. We find out more why later on in the book, but mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And they're heading to Elwi because it seems like the kind of place Aelin's going to head to next, okay? That they've got hints that that's probably where she's heading, slash where she's been, because of some other stuff that we will talk about later. Now, as much as I said, the next section I was going to talk about Manon, there is a little bit of Aelin and Korgang stuff that I'm going to share first, because then we can jump into witch news.